All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today we're going to continue on our live stream series, checking out what's going on in the crypto space. Talk about a really important discussion of topic of discussion today, which is why it's critical for you to be paying attention to crypto right now when a lot of people aren't, okay? We're looking at the cryptocurrency prices, kind of look at the pain that's going on right now in the markets. Like I said, look at a lot of other critical updates and more. So before we get into that, if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to become a blockchain master step by step, start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. So last but not least, there's lots of scammers down in the comment section below. Like, it's impossible to get rid of them. I'll never give you my phone number or ask you to invest with me. Okay. So we got people jumping in the chat here. We got the faithful, Culture Highs, Automatic Beats. Welcome, welcome. We'll wait for a couple more people to roll in here. But let's go ahead and start the topic of discussion today. So actually, I wanted this video a little bit differently from the other live streams you do on this channel. Again, we do these Monday through Friday on this channel. You just turn on notifications, subscribe down below. You'll find out about them when they come out. So instead of first actually talking about, kind of a leading news story, I want to bring up a topic of discussion that I think is really critical for everyone watching this video to think about. Because if you're watching this video, basically a lot of people have completely fled the crypto space over the past, month, 2 months, right? Ever since cryptocurrency prices have gone down, people who are kind of here for just really fast hype, attention, really fast profit seeking in the cryptocurrency markets, a lot of them are gone, okay? And there's some temptation for people to get discouraged after cryptocurrency prices have gone on. The hype has died down that, oh, this space is dead, it's not going anywhere. And then they just totally check out. They don't even think about it. Or if they're interested in the technology, which is what I try to focus on this channel, actually, to equip you with the skills that you need to break into this industry and take advantage of all this opportunity, sometimes basically people correlate that with the price, and I think because cryptocurrency prices went down that, the interest in this technology is going away and that the opportunities may be drying up if you're thinking about this as a technical, career. Or maybe you want to build your own project or whatever it is. But I'll tell you the exact opposite is true, because we've seen a massive infusion of capital in this space. There's a ton of demand for blockchain developers and all this type of stuff and people are, the really smart people are basically doubling down right now, while a lot of other people just aren't even paying attention. And so if you want to basically be ahead of the herd whenever the next wave comes in, right now is incredibly important that you double down and watch what's happening in this space. So actually, I'm going to tell you a story about this because I did this, okay? I was here in 2017 whenever the bubble popped, okay? I watched, currency prices go down and down and down and down and down for an entire year and then take, a year plus to actually recover to gain any bullish momentum like we've seen over the past, year and a half or so. So, during that time, we saw a lot of interest evaporate from the space, but the entire time we were building the technology that actually sparked the sort of wave of hype that kicked off this last major, bull run. So things like Ethereum with DeFi, with, all this stuff, okay? And so let me tell you about why I'm really glad that I stuck it out and, paid attention and doubled down to that entire time. I mean, I could have basically, fled the space. I could have gone away. I could have just said, oh, well, it's not going anywhere. But that's the time that I actually grew a majority of my YouTube channel and, got to know you all, do all this type of stuff. And also, think about it this way. I started learning Solidity in 2017, okay? And you'd be hard-pressed to find, that's 4 years ago. So I did that and doubled down on those skills while the space was really boring. And right now, when this space is super hot, it's still white hot in terms of the technology, that's the point I'm trying to make. So if you were to try to find somebody like now who has 4 years of Solidity experience, there's hardly anybody on the face of the planet that has that kind of, experience. They're incredibly high demand, all that type of stuff. So for you, right now is a perfect time to start paying attention and building things. Because you're not going to be as distracted by what's going on with all the hype in the space. There's tons of capital that have been infused in this space to try to get ahead of that next wave. And that's the key, is positioning, because what you don't want to do is leave the space right now and then basically lose position, because that's what a lot of people are going to do. You talk about, doing the opposite of what most people do. People think about that with trading, like be fearful and others are greedy and greedy others are fearful. Well, I'm not going to give you that in terms of investment advice and tell you now's a perfect time to buy cryptocurrency, because we don't know. If the prices keep going down, maybe later's a better time. But I can tell you that right now is a great time to double down on the technology itself, and and get ahead of the next wave, because the technology jumps in leaps, okay? And we saw a big, massive leap in innovation, last year that kind of really sparked a lot of the stuff. And I can guarantee you that we are going to see another big leap in innovation pretty soon on the grand scheme of things. I mean, I don't know exactly what that's going to do to cryptocurrency prices. Nobody does for sure. The prices tend to be correlated with these big leaps in technology. But we got a ton of amazing stuff coming up on the roadmap for, ETH2, Layer 2 scaling on top of the Ethereum platform, gaming, NFTs, more stuff with DeFi. Like it's absolutely insane. So the whole point is you don't want to check out and miss all the innovation, because that's when the prime point of opportunity is actually watching that in real time and getting ahead of it, and finding out about all that stuff, and then developing your technical skills. Because if you're gonna become technical, it takes time to do that, and the best time to cross that gap is when nobody's paying attention. Like, that's the whole point I'm trying to make, and that's why I can keep doing these videos for you all, despite the prices going down, and despite getting like a fraction of the engagement that they normally would on YouTube, is to help you all during this time get the skills that you need, and learn and get ahead of everybody else who's just completely checked out. Okay, so let me know if that sounds good to you all. That's just a message I wanted to bring to you all today, because I know that this can be challenging for a lot of people. Like I said, I was here in 2017 when this happened. I know what it feels like to walk through a bear market where nobody cares about crypto. And I don't know if what's going on right now is going to last as long as it did last time. But yeah, now is definitely not the time to stop paying attention if you're interested in this space for the long term. So let's see here. So short BTC. So that being said, let's actually look at some updates. We'll look at the prices here in a minute. We don't necessarily have to check the prices if that's not what people want to look at today. I know sometimes it's best to just not even check on it. But let's look at some other updates that have happened in this space that I think it's important to pay attention to. At the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and say that stuff's happening and it's not happening. So let's look at some examples. Like I said, of course, we have NFTs, we have gaming. Stuff's going on with Axie Infinity. I talked about that yesterday on my channel. So, Axie Infinity has still been getting a ton of traction, okay? And like I said, some of the big trends to watch out for are definitely with NFTs and gaming. I think these are going to be some of the next big trends that are going to pop off in blockchain. Definitely in terms of adoption. Like I said, when I talk about stuff taking off or really exploding, I don't necessarily always mean the cryptocurrency price, right? Like, sometimes it's just the technology getting more utility, which is, a lot of what I care about. And a lot of times you'll see the price of these projects be correlated to that type of thing. Now, it's not necessarily causation, right? But, we do see Axie Infinity's still on a run here. Okay. We talked about this being a pretty big game in the space, big for NFTs, all that type of stuff. So I'm going to keep my eye on this trend and kind of see what continues to happen. Of course, not financial advice. I don't personally hold anything related to this, but I'm seeing this as evidence of more gaming NFTs kind of being on an uptrend right now, especially the hot ones. So, like I said before, people are paying attention to this space. The really smart people, the smart businesses that are pouring money into this are taking this time to double down. So basically, what I'm saying is good for you to double down, because that's what other people do. Like I said, so much capital has been infused in this space to try to get ahead, because they know that there's a ton of upside in this technology. So let me see if I can actually find this. This article won't pull up on my computer because it's kind of paywall, but let's just see if I can catch it before it goes away. So it's from Bloomberg. So basically, Fidelity staff is to expand stupid paywall. I can't actually read the thing. Anyways, Fidelity Digital to expand staff by 70%, I believe is what it says. Let's just see if we can find it. I'll just see if I can read it here. It's really annoying when I try to pull these up and then they are behind a paywall and I can't read them on screen. But so Fidelity Digital to expand staff by 70% on strong crypto demand. Okay. So, like I said, we're seeing more people in traditional finance double down on crypto and say, hey, how can we support this? How can we, how can we do this? Let's see here. We see more news from Bank of America. So let's see here. So Bank of America establishes cryptocurrency research team. So Bank of America has become the largest major bank to make a foray into the cryptocurrency sector. According to the internal memo, the bank has created a team dedicated to researching cryptocurrencies. Bank of America believes that it is uniquely positioned to provide thought leadership on cryptocurrencies and the technology behind them. Okay, so yeah, we're just seeing more and more people double on this space despite what's happening with the price. So who knows if they're like saying this is a unique opportunity to take advantage and get ahead while people aren't paying attention. But I think the whole point is they're jumping into this regardless of what's happening, the price going down. So we are seeing more innovation happen with layer 2s. So, layer 2 scaling solutions for Ethereum. People's complaints about that Ethereum is too slow, it's too expensive. I've talked about, layer 2s rolling out. My prediction is still that we'll see wide layer 2 adoption roll out in 2021. So that's year. I stand behind that prediction. We had some delays with layer 2s. Initially, Optimism, which is one of the layer 2s that I'm most excited about, was supposed to ship in May. Of course, we got a delay for that. I don't have any official dates on when everything is going to roll out regarding that. We do see some news about Synthetix yesterday, talking about July, I believe 26, 24, something like that. So we'll see if those projections are actually targets that we hit. But one thing I did see yesterday from the development front is it's getting easier for developers to actually deploy their smart contracts to layer 2s. Okay, so we saw this yesterday. So Truffle, the basically the smart contract development framework that I use a lot on this channel, is now have a box where they can support Arbitrum. So Arbitrum is another layer 2 scaling solution where you can put smart contracts on top of Ethereum, and that actually supports. This is supported by the security of the Ethereum network. It's a real layer 2. Okay, so if there's something y'all are interested in seeing, content on, definitely let me know down in the comment section below or in the live chat, and maybe we can talk about that type of stuff. So layer 2 is gonna be big, and then this is gonna be a big thing for, if you're technical, to get ahead of, is basically learn how to use layer 2s as a developer, because that's where the trend is headed. Basically making your blockchain applications fast, scalable, cheaper to use, all that type of stuff. Layer 2 knowledge is going to be a must. Let's see here. Somebody says wrist check. It's wrist check. Let's see here. I don't think anybody would have misinterpreted that if other people hadn't made videos like spreading misinformation. So let's see here. Let's actually go ahead and check on the crypto markets. It might be a little bit painful. We can take a look here. So when do we find out about my project? Yeah, so totally. If somebody's asking about my super secret project in stealth mode, when it's ready. So I'll give you a little hint on this. So I am launching my own project. People asked me the other day, like, hey, what do you work on day in, day out? Well, I am launching my own project. It's one of those things where, so this is what people understand. If you're a developer, you already understand this. If you're kind of like looking at the developer space, it's pretty important to know that it's things that are extremely technical take a long time are notoriously hard to estimate. You don't know how long it's going to take you to build something that's like cutting edge, revolutionary, extremely hard. Like a small software development project is usually not that hard to estimate, but something that's big and super complex and takes a lot of people to pull off, a lot of moving parts. These timelines, it's almost impossible to forecast. You can try to guess, but it's crazy how wrong you can be. Okay, so that's kind of true in blockchain, where you see like people talk about like, oh, when's E 2.0 going to ship? It keeps getting pushed back. Or like, when's layer 2 going to roll out? It keeps getting pushed back. Well, that's because this stuff is so incredibly hard. And so the project that I'm working on, basically takes a fraction of the amount of people to pull off. But even then, we're still like trying to figure out when exactly we can be able to launch this thing. But I will say in the next couple months for sure, but I'll be talking about it closer to that time, so make sure you pay attention to the channel. Again, if the cryptocurrency markets are still like sort of quiet at that point and the space is kind of quiet, like that's going to be the time to pay attention to this stuff so you can get in on this stuff while it's still early. So what kind of project? You're going to find out. Okay, so well, you'll find out if you watch the videos. So I'll take a look at the crypto markets here. So yeah, Bitcoin, we're still kind of range bound, but it's you know kind of bearish. Let's just take a look here. Yeah, we saw kind of a little bit of a jump down here. Yeah, let me actually pull the trading view chart so you guys can see it better. Let's see if we can actually look at with some light technical indicators. Again, I'm not super skilled at technical analysis. Let me just find it. We'll just look at the Coinbase price. So again, I'm not super skilled with technical analysis. I'll just like look at some basics here. Yeah, so we have broken below these lows. This is kind of what I'm keeping an eye on, right? So I'll just kind of give you the big picture. So yeah, Bitcoin price has been falling. We kind of made lower low, lower low, lower low, kind of hit a double bottom here, made a higher low, but now we made a lower low, and now it looks like we're making a lower low here. So what I'm watching out for next is, do we break these levels right here, and do we fall below? Because really, Bitcoin is using these moving averages right here as resistance. Like, it's not being able to push above it. So I'm not flipping, you know, short-term bullish on this until we actually break above these resistance points, because these are just moving averages. So like, this is not like TA designed to, you know, predict exactly the price of Bitcoin by a certain date, but it's looking at the overall trend and trying to say, has Bitcoin broken out of a certain trend before we can get super excited about what's going to happen here? And the answer here is no. Bitcoin is not broken out of this sort of bearish trend. We don't know when it's going to break out of this bearish trend. Some things that we can see here is the volatility is actually decreasing, right? Like, you kind of got this range inside of here that's like, let's see, 34,000 to 32. It's like a $1,000 to $2,000 range. It's not very much. Some things that happen in the past, when you see the volatility shrinking like this, Bitcoin tends to make a move kind of sharply in either direction, either the upside or the downside. We don't really know yet. You know, at this point, with kind of the bearish trend, maybe that move is to the downside. So we'll just wait and see. I'll check on the Ether price as well. Look at the it's the same story. Basically, you know, the entire market's kind of getting drugged down. I don't think we can have any. I don't think that we have any good reason to think that Ether is just going to like decouple from Bitcoin and, you know, like blast off into infinity while Bitcoin and everything else is kind of bearish. I mean, we do see, like I said, we do see some of these DeFi projects. We do see stuff like Axie Infinity, some of these smaller cap stuff, you know, perform well, that have solid use cases, that have good fundamentals behind them. The problem with Ether is it's such a large cap cryptocurrency like this that it really takes. It's gonna be following sort of the larger trend, I really think, with the overall market. We have a ton of amazing network upgrades coming up down the pike, but it's one of those things where I think a lot of people don't really. They're just not in tune with all that, right? There will be some fundamental impact of like EIP 1559, the price of Ether, right? I've talked about that a ton on this channel because it's going to affect ETH's supply. It's going to affect the tokenomics, all that type of stuff. But I don't think it's one of those things where just like EIP 1559 is going to turn on and then like boom, the price of Ether explodes. I really don't think that's going to happen. We still need people to demand Ether, and a lot of that demand, in terms of what's been happening here, I think has been a little bit bubblish demand, right? We've talked about that a ton on this channel. Like this could be a little bit of a bubble, but we could still be on a long-term upward trend. So I think the fundamentals for ETH are, you know, are strengthening by the day, right? For sure, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the price is going to immediately respond to those improvements in fundamentals. So let's just take a look if we got any questions in the chat. Final Fantasy VII here. That's funny. Somebody says, yeah, some other tokens. Yeah, 1 million token. So we're making any content on coding for layer 2s? Yeah, totally. Somebody says, why am I so bullish on Synthetix and in the DeFi space? You mentioned that you own it. Thanks. So That's a good question. Yeah, so I do hold Synthetix, full disclosure. So I got in Synthetix pretty early, like kind of early 2020. So I saw quite a bit of price appreciation. It's one of those things where I just bought it and just held on to it. I still believe in the long-term, vision of the protocol. I mean, it didn't see as explosive growth towards the last part of 2020 and into 2021 as something like Aave did. But I held both. Like I held Aave since it was ETH-Lend, and I held Synthetix. I got in both of those projects early while they were, kind of on the rise, and I'm still bullish on them, just fundamentally speaking long term. So there's no reason for me to get out of them, I guess I would say. Somebody says, in your experience, a bear market still has the same opportunities for blockchain devs as bull market? 100%. It's different, but the opportunity is still alive and well. And so here's one of the reasons why is basically it won't be the same at every company necessarily, but basically a lot of these places just raise a ton of money and they want to build projects for the long term, and so they're flush with capital. Okay, that's the real important part. Now the projects that aren't super successful, some of them may not do well there if we go into a long-term bear market, but there's ton of opportunity. You really want to focus on quality projects, though. You want to focus on quality people who have quality vision in the space. 2017, we saw the same type of story where people raised money in ICOs, but they, some of the projects that, lacked strong fundamentals didn't do as well. So that's definitely something to consider. But I mean, we are fundamentally night and day different than we were in 2017 because we have such solid use cases for Ethereum, DeFi, smart contracts, crypto, all this type of stuff that we didn't even have in 2017. In 2017, we had ICOs, we had tokens, and we had smart contracts. We weren't really sure what else we were going to do with this stuff. I mean, DeFi was kind of an idea in people's heads, but basically, it's not even the same anymore. We didn't really have apps with users in 2017. That was the whole point. We had ICOs, but people just came in, bought, and then held the cryptocurrencies, and we had exchanges. We didn't really even have sophisticated decentralized exchanges. We had like Ether Delta, but we didn't have a Uniswap yet, right? So basically, we have a Uniswap now that's still getting tons of users all the time. We have DeFi apps that have tons of users. They're still growing, networks that are growing. It's hard to be bearish on the technology itself. Now, the nature of the technology changes as the prices kind of go down a little bit, but it's incredible. So let's see here. Somebody says, have I seen million tokens shoot up since I talked about it? Yeah, I've watched million token. I don't personally hold any million token, full disclosure. I like to disclose when I hold tokens so that you don't think I'm like trying to pump coins. Like I would never pump a coin on this channel. So someone says talk about NFTs. So yeah, NFTs definitely I think are seeing an explosion of interest actually, despite what's going on right now. I made a video a couple weeks talking about like people were getting pretty bearish on NFTs as the space was kind of starting to cool off a little bit, and I was like, hey, our NFTs dead? In that video, I said I didn't think so. I said that basically I thought the long-term use case for NFTs is still alive and well. That we got a lot of other NFTs that I think can really do well long term, not just like digital collectible pictures, but like other solid use cases. But I think we actually are seeing a surge of interest in NFTs right now. We're seeing some prices go up on NFTs. It just depends on what the project is, right? So let's see here. Any questions? So let's see here. I'm planning on becoming a Cardano developer. Please let me know your opinion. Well, I guess tell me what you plan on building on Cardano. That's kind of my question. So how difficult is it to code an entirely new project? So it depends on what your experience level is. I mean, any project is challenging from the grand scheme of things, but if it's a simple project, it's not as challenging. It's a good real-world project to build in portfolio. So that's a great question. So I actually saw a pretty cool, I got a free project idea for anybody who wants to build something and put it out there in the world, okay? This could be a real-world project. It could be pretty reasonable for a single developer to do. And I think you could put this out there and people would actually use it. I don't think necessarily it's going to make you like a ton of money or anything, but if you wanted to just build a project and put it out there and get people to use it in the real world for your portfolio, or just to say, hey, you did something cool, then I got a free idea for you. So actually saw this pop up yesterday on my Twitter. So somebody said basically need a way to set multiple profile pics and have them cycle randomly. And I said, hey, you know, this is pretty easy to do as a third-party application as long as the Twitter API grants access to like your profile picture. So basically, you could just take your ETH wallet for avatar projects and cycle through them. So one of the big trends in NFTs is basically to buy NFTs and use them as your profile picture, okay, on Twitter. Okay, so what I was saying is basically you could have an app that essentially checks your Ethereum wallet for all the NFT avatar products that you want to use as your profile picture on Twitter, and then just takes them and puts them in a list. And like you could, in this app, require the person's signature from their Ethereum private key to validate that they are actually the owner of the address, all right? Then you could capture that signature that would grant them the right to fetch all the avatar projects from their NFTs. You could put them on a screen, and then you could say, okay, I want this avatar NFT, this one. Maybe you have like 10 and you only want 5 to be used for your profile picture. You could just pick 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it could talk to your, authenticate with your Twitter account. It would go talk to Twitter, pull in your OAuth tokens, store them in a database, and then basically say, okay, now this app has, the ability to do write access to your Twitter account. And assuming that Twitter has an endpoint that lets you actually update a profile picture, which I think it does, I don't know for sure, then your app could basically just like change your profile picture once a day or something like that, and then cycle through the NFTs that you have actually access to inside your account. And that would be a way that you could take avatar projects, prove that you own them, and then, update your profile picture, and you could even put a little badge on there or something like that that said like your third-party app name, made with, myavatar.eth or something like that. So that's a free project idea if anybody wants to build it. You could probably do it in a week if you're an advanced developer. If you're new, you might plan longer, maybe a month. But I think people would actually use it. That's the whole point. If you sort of like a build and they will come, just use it yourself. Like if you're an avatar, you probably the best way to do it is like if you have avatar NFTs, like go buy some cheap ones, test it out, sign it, make a YouTube video about it, use it on your Twitter, and then just like start sharing it around in those NFT circles. There's lots of NFT like Discord groups, Telegram chat rooms, all that type of stuff. It's sort of like just tell people about it and they'll start using it. How do I feel about pay people to play games? So it just depends on if the economics work out. I mean, if the economics of pay to play work out, I think it's awesome because that's a brand new type of game where, I mean, think about it. You can get the incentives to get paid to play a video game. I mean, that's huge. Will smart contracts be able to run blockchain nodes? There's so much underutilized power out there. So basically, it depends on the node. So like, you're probably not going to run an ETH2 node on a smartphone. Yeah, it just depends. The short answer, oversimplified answer is most blockchains are not just going to be able to run a node on your phone. Someone says calling it crypto plus gaming will be the next bubble. It's very possible. I think there's a lot of innovation happening in the gaming space. All right, everybody, I got to wrap it up for today. That's all I got. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. It really helps these videos out so the more people can learn about blockchain. If you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? You can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you went to the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a massive shortcut entirely, actually become a blockchain master step by step, start to finish, over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You'd have to be an expert to get started today. Help people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.